Well, I'm in deep Kent today in Hopland country, and I'm off to see an exhibition of chairs through the century, which are from the Design Museum being held at Paddock Wood. So it'd be good fun to see what that's about.
Well, when we arrived at the gallery, we were the only people there. It was midweek, which probably helped. The actual gallery at Maskell's, it's called the Maskell's Gallery, and it's actually at Maskell's School at Paddock Wood in Kent. And it's essentially a room with no windows. And I guess the reason for that really is just security. It has video cameras, etc., which is probably very sensible. And when you think about it, this collection of chairs, about 25 chairs roughly on show, they must be very valuable. I mean, they are key chairs, the Rietveld chairs and others. I enjoyed looking around at them all really. The thing that struck me about the chairs was the variety of styles, and people had taken really what we'll say, if you go back to the 1880s, 1890s, a chair was something with four legs, looking very conventional. And some of these chairs really were pushing at those boundaries. So you had things like the Rietveld chair from 1918, the red blue chair with the boards and the plain linear framework. And crikey, to produce that in 1918, that is just, to me, it's genius. It's just thinking completely out the box. Some of the other designs, I mean, you'd look at them nowadays and say, yep, okay, well, that's fairly typical of the modernistic period at the time, in the 20s and 30s and that sort of thing. Still lovely chairs, but perhaps not quite so stunning. What is interesting, as you look at the chairs, you see how the use of materials has evolved over time. So as plastics became available, people tried making chairs out of plastic. As injection moulding came on, they'd have a go seeing what could be done and pushing the boundary the whole time. And also you had external influences like the nuclear age with the atom chaise longue and the tulip chair. All sorts of things which society was changing, and it influences in the chairs. In the same sort of way really that chairs going back in time picked up local variations, and you've got regional chairs. And I mean, the more modern ones, you got things like the PlayStation chair coming about really because people began sitting in a different way. So quite thought-provoking from a sort of chair design point of view. Made me think a bit more about Windsor chairs and how perhaps one could stretch the boundaries of design. And certainly a good exhibition that's really well worth seeing. On the way back, we stopped off at Chudley Church, and there's some Marc Chagall stained glass. In fact, it's the only church in the world that has all of its windows made from stained glass by Marc Chagall. And there's a lovely big memorial window above the altar. Very sad, it's about the death of a daughter drowning at sea. But the actual way it's represented is beautifully done, lovely colours with the light filtering through. And again, well worth seeing. It's just lovely artistry in a different sort of way.